This week we have a close physical battle between two teams. We get hit by the ball again and have to make a big DOGSO decision. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from, and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Whistle. Today we are refereeing Treadworth Tigers versus Gala Wilton in the Gloucestershire Northern Senior League Division 1. I've refereed these teams both once before, but that was in pre-season, so we're not going to take too much from that into today's game. There's a few interesting decisions to make, so stick around. If you've not been here before, my name's Eric. I'm a grassroots referee here in England, and I take you in the day in the life of what it's like to be a grassroots referee. I take you to the game, and then we review all of the decisions afterwards, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so stay tuned for that. So just finished the game. Tough one. A few decisions to make, which were difficult. There was a DOGSO that we had to make a decision on. A few type of tackles we had to make decisions on. Big goalmouth scramble at one point that was a bit dicey. So yeah, there's some good things to cover in this review. But yeah, tough game. I've got this terrible habit recently of just finding myself too central. I got hit by the ball again today. I'm just way too close to play, too in the middle of the park. So we'll review that as well, figure out why I'm doing it and how I can get out of there. But overall, good game, not too much trouble, but a lot of kind of strange decisions that we'll need to cover in the review. Not strange, but difficult decisions, ones that could have had big impact on the game. So I'll see you guys when we jump into the review. So throughout this game, I'm actually using a brand new whistle. So before I let you guys know what it is, can you just drop in the comments whether you like the sound of it or not, and let me know. So just a minute into the game, the goalkeeper gets the ball in his hands and tells me that the ball is flat. So we stop play and we go in to check it. We give it a little squeeze. We think it is flat, and so we ask for a new ball and then we roll it off. Etiquette as a referee is to actually roll the ball off the pitch, don't kick it off, or you might embarrass yourself like I did last week by kicking the floor. So what does law actually say about the ball? All balls must be spherical, all right? That's a good start. They need to be round, they need to be made of a suitable material and of a circumference between 68 and 70 centimeters, between 410 grams and 450 grams at the start of the match, and then of equal pressure to whatever that means. As a referee, you're not going to know the circumference of the ball, how big the ball is, how heavy it is, whether it's pumped up enough. So what we can do is basically just use our common sense, okay? Does that ball look the same size as balls we usually use every week? Yes. Is it the same pressure of all the other footballs we've tested in the previous weeks? There are just a few different things you can do. Just press it in, see what the pressure's like, and if you feel like it's a little bit flat, you can ask for the ball to be changed. I know that some referees take out like a PSI gauge with them to test whether the ball is pumped up enough. I personally don't. I don't have one. But from 20 odd years of playing football, I know what a football is supposed to feel like. So if it feels off, we just ask them to change. But if you wanted to really check, then you can check the match ball before the match. At higher levels, you'll actually get the match ball in your changing room before you go out for kickoff, so you can always test the match ball there as well. If the ball is flat or defective, right, so it bursts, it changes shape, play is stopped and is restarted with a drop ball. If that ball becomes defective, flat, bursts, whatever, at kickoff, goal kick, corner, at any restart, the restart is retaken. And if the ball becomes defective during penalty kicks, if the ball is struck and then it bursts or becomes defective before it touches something else, the penalty kick is retaken. And the ball cannot be changed throughout the match without the referee's permission. About 5 minutes after that, we get this tackle. There are a few complaints about the challenge, but for me, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. So as the ball bounces in, he comes sliding in, wins the ball perfectly. Nothing wrong with that tackle, in my opinion. Yes, it's a strong tackle, but there's nothing reckless about this. It's not a foul in my eyes, so great tackle to start off the game. We then get this foul in the middle of the pitch. So the player in blue tries to play a long ball over the defender. The yellow player slides in late and makes contact, and we wait to see if the ball could fall to that blue striker. Because the ball didn't fall to him, we were able to blow our whistle and give the foul and bring it back for the free kick. Obviously, we don't want to blow our whistle too early here when the ball's going over the defenders, because if that blue striker goes through on goal and we don't give the advantage, then it's really going to disrupt kind of our match control. So no problem in waiting a couple seconds. Nothing dangerous was going to happen by waiting. So that's why I did what I did. 5 minutes after that, we then get this foul. This is borderline reckless play for me. The reason I didn't give it as reckless is you'll see the tackle, he actually makes contact with his trailing leg, not the leg that he's gone into the slide tackle with. So it sounds worse than it is, but it's actually like shin pad on shin pad. You'll then hear the number 2 say that they've done the same thing over there, referring to that first tackle that we showed. As you can tell, it's a bit of a different tackle. So what we do is we call the number 2 in for a quick chat. And I basically explained to him, look, the yellow defender has come in, yes, at a similar speed, but he's played the ball first and it's a completely fair challenge. This one, although you may have got a slither of the ball, maybe on the underside of your leg, there's nowhere near enough contact for this not to be a foul. And he kind of just takes it on board and we crack on. Again, we're 15 minutes into the game here. I've refereed both these teams before and they were slightly physical teams both times. And you'll see this tackle's in front of the benches, the technical areas. There's not much reaction from them. The game was not very heated at this time, and so for me, a talking to would have had the same effect here as a yellow card. Giving a yellow card this early, I didn't really feel beneficial. Like I said, the tackle is borderline reckless, but it doesn't quite go over the threshold for me. I felt like I could manage this with just a talking to this early in the game. But let me know what you guys think. Would you have given a yellow card here, or would you have just had a word? And then we give this foul. The number 10 complains, saying it's not a foul, but as you can see, the ball is nowhere near him when he runs into, well, I say runs into, when he blocks off the number 7. So this for me is a clear foul. You can't just charge an opponent like that when you're not in playing distance of the ball. So we get a corner and we have to manage a situation between the defender, the striker and the goalkeeper. And this will be something that commonly happens in your games on a Saturday. So you'll see the goalkeeper here with the defender and the striker, and you'll see that there's a little bit of kind of jostling, pushing and shoving in the box. The goalkeeper then shoves his own defender and the yellow player is backing back into the blue defender, trying to block off the goalkeeper. And basically what they're trying to do is block that goalkeeper from being able to come out and either punch, grab, clear the ball, whatever. So before that ball gets played in, we blow our whistle and we go in to have a chat. And we basically say, look, you're all within your rights to challenge for the ball, but let's make sure that that's what you're doing, okay? Challenge for the ball. You can't impede each other without any intent to play the ball, and so be very careful in these areas. So again, they kind of jostle a little bit, but nothing really happens, and none of that happened again throughout the match from other corners. So again, just being proactive and managing it before it becomes a problem, I'm very, very happy with. We then give this foul in the final third. So this is a mistake, and the reason this is a mistake is because the player doesn't actually foul him, he actually slips. So it was really hard to see in real time. The pitch was quite slippy, and so I saw contact, then saw the player go down, so I thought it was a foul. However, if we break this down, you'll basically see that as that ball comes in, he goes to control it, he puts his foot on the ball, slips, and then, yeah, goes down. There's no actual foul here, so we've got that wrong. And that is half time. Just a couple things to go through in the first half. However, the second half brings a lot more, so let's jump into that. We start off by giving this handball. The reason for me this was handball is because he's brought his arm down towards the ball. I don't think his arms are actually that unnatural out from his body where they are, but he brings his arm down towards the ball as he's controlling it, and so that's what made it handball for me. We then get this offside decision. This is difficult. Right, so let's see when that ball is played. We'll go with this frame here. So it looks to me like this player here is in an offside position, but maybe this one isn't. It's borderline. It's very difficult to tell from this angle. What's certain is this number 10 is onside, okay? He is not in an offside position. So as that ball gets played, all 3 players run towards that ball, right? And then this player here, who could have definitely been offside, approaches the ball, and that's when the assistant puts his flag up. We actually wait to see what happens, and then because the goalkeeper saves it, and the ball goes out wide, we end up giving the offside. I wanted to wait to see if they could score, and then I was going to go over to the assistant and ask him who he actually thought was offside, because for me, the number 10 who took that shot was not offside, but the player that ran towards the ball was definitely interfering with play. So I waited to see if the shot was taken and what the outcome of that was. And then because it was saved and the ball went wide and the danger had kind of dropped, I thought, okay, now I can give the offside. If there was a goal, I would have gone over and spoken to him, and I hope that kind of helps. We then get a decision around DOGSO, and the couple of the players from the yellow team after the game told me that this was a shocker. So let's have a look. So the ball gets played forward very, very quickly, and unfortunately I'm caught a little bit flat-footed. I see that there's obviously potential for DOGSO, something big to happen here, and so I get moving as quick as I can once I recognise what's happened. For me, this is just a coming together, and the defender has actually played the ball. So for me, the yellow striker has headed the ball across the defender, and it's hit the defender, and then straighten back up again. So for me, it was clear that the defender had played the ball. It didn't look like he played it with his arm, and so it's no handball. And I don't think this is a foul. The team in yellow thought this was a foul, and a couple of them thought that this is DOGSO and a red card. I personally think, watching the footage back, that it still shows that that's not the case. It's not a foul, not DOGSO. And so I think I got this decision right here. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think this is a foul? Because it's an interesting point, right? Does the blue player play the ball, or does the ball get played into the blue player? And does it really make a difference? And then after that, we get bloody hit by the ball again. Again. So the ball's scrambling around, the player goes to ground to clear it, and then it hits me. So we stop play. I didn't actually need to stop play here. So under law 9, the ball in and out of play, it explains that the ball is out of play when it touches a match official, remains on the field of play, and a team starts a promising attack, the ball goes directly into the goal, or the team in possession of the ball changes. In all these cases, play is restarted with a dropped ball. So the ball hits me, but does it meet these criteria? Well, no, I don't think so. So the blue player plays it, right? The blue player makes the tackle, it hits me, and then it falls to a blue player. So I wouldn't actually have to stop play here unless I deem this a promising attack. But the fact is, everybody on the pitch expects you to stop play, so I just stop play. If that's what everybody on the field wants and expects, then just stop playing, give the drop ball. Otherwise, it's just going to cause a lot of confusion, maybe some trouble, and nobody on this pitch thinks that we're meant to play on. Okay, they all believe that if the ball hits the referee, it stops, and so they all stop. So the best thing to do is just give a drop ball. 6 minutes before full time, the team in blue go 1-0 up. There's a lot of pushing and shoving from the striker and the defender, but they're mutually grabbing each other. So when they go down to the floor, it's not a foul for me. And then the blue player manages to get his head to the ball and knocks it in for 1-0. So it's 1-0. There are literally 5 minutes left of the game. And so there are some things that I now start to think about. One, the team that goes 1-0 down may start to get desperate towards the end of the game. Okay, so you may get more tackles of a higher intensity. And then equally, you're going to probably get some delaying the restart from the blue team as they try and preserve a 1-0 lead. So as things happen in the game, the whole landscape and atmosphere of that match changes. And then 4 minutes after the goal, we do have to give our first yellow card. So for me, this is reckless play. He slides in late with a relative amount of force. And again, I'm trying to control the game now over these last 5 minutes to make sure nothing gets out of hand. What's interesting is the blue manager down the bottom here is actually saying that he wants to play, he'd rather just play. And so yeah, maybe I don't need to stop and give a yellow card here. It was this player's first foul, but for me this is a reckless challenge, and the safest thing to do at this stage of the game was just stop playing, give a yellow card. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is full time. I hope you've enjoyed this week's vlog. You may have noticed a few little subtle differences here with the scoreboard and the border around me. We're going to try and start taking these videos to the next level again, try and improve every week as we always do. So thank you so much for the support. I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and I will see you guys next week.